Access Sacramento presents Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Major underwriting support this season for Hometown Sports Game of the Week on Access Sacramento is provided by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Access Sacramento also thanks Sharif Jewelers, fine jewelers since 1932. Sharif Jewelers, a longtime sponsor of community television. And Folsom Lake Honda, a proud sponsor of Access Sacramento's Hometown TV and Game of the Week, and a partner in our community. Folsom Lake Honda.
We have reached the midway mark of regular season play around the Sac Joaquin section, and teams contending for league championships are turning up the heat, trying to stretch out away from those in pursuit, while those needing to make up ground also turning up the heat, trying to lodge a double W. Access Sacramento this evening is in El Dorado Hills on the campus of Oakridge High School, where tonight the host Trojans entertain the invading DelOro Golden Eagles on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. We welcome you aboard to a very festive atmosphere. It is homecoming here at Oakridge High School, and you can imagine all the traditional festivities are in play at the present time. Good evening to you, along with the Imperator of Analysis, Hall of Famer Jim Domino. I'm Will James, and tonight we have a doozy of a Sierra Foothill League Classic matchup. Coach Domino, these teams have gone to war many times against each other, and it's always fierce.
It certainly is. It's a big rivalry, a festive crowd, no matter where the game's at. And tonight, with homecoming here, people are still coming in from everywhere, and we expect the visitor side to fill up as well. And once again, like any game in the SFL, it's anybody's ball game, and a lot of things are up for grabs, Will.
That they are. Let's take a look at the last time these two teams met a year ago in DelOro. It was a one-sided affair.
It certainly was. Oakridge exploded for 42 points in the second and third quarters, and finally 35-point spread, which is almost unheard of in this series.
Well, the last outings for these two teams were not exactly on level ground. As you see, the Golden Eagles have been on standby waiting, while Oakridge has remained consistently in the fight.
Well, the Golden Eagles are coming off a bye week after suffering a road loss at Whitney. Meanwhile, Oakridge, of course, comes fresh off that Grant victory, roaring to a halftime lead. Lamson and Jacobs had a big night, going for two, and that ground game dominated with 3 rushing TDs.
Well, the impact players have to surface big tonight for both sides, and for the visiting DelOro squad, the flight leaders have to do the job on the road.
They certainly do. Cal Lunders is going to be under heavy pressure tonight. Aiden Foster, outstanding running back. David Vesky, one of the top offensive blockers in the league. Tucker Black at defense, at down lineman and outside offensive tackle. Blake Lamar, outstanding tight end and receiver. And, of course, Bear Booze, outstanding on both ends.
We'll get back to the Trojans torpedoes right after this. Stay with us.
What?
Okay, Trojans, Torpedoes, the other half of the Impact players, they're at home tonight. They need to turn up big.
Okay, for the Trojans, let's start with that number 10, Justin Lamson, that junior who played a lot last year as a sophomore. Avante Jacobs, outstanding wide receiver. Ethan Criswell, outstanding blocker up front, and Ryan Enney, who leads the team in tackling. Running back Warfield plays both ends, plays corner, and Guy Lozada, who can play multiple positions. You'll see him at anywhere from linebacker, defensive back, and wide receiver.
We got the table set for you. It should be another SFL wild one here on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Don't wander off. When we come back, we'll check in with our buddy Lauren Goodman for more on tonight's big game.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you
Five-yard penalty, first down.
Everyone get him up. Left corner, get him up. Get him up.
We are underway here in El Dorado Hills at Oakridge High. With Jim Domino, Lauren Goodman, I'm Will James. And this is a Sierra Foothill League matchup of some intensity. We'll get these lineups squared away for you momentarily. Right now, 3rd and 13. Sweep to the right, shy of a first, but it's about an 8-yard pickup. So the visiting Golden Eagles, there you see their offense led by QB Cal Lunders. The Fosters will figure big in tonight's ball game out of that backfield. As we see a 4th and 5 upcoming, there's the interior line. Vesky, one of the top in the area. So punt formation shown by the Golden Eagles on 4th and 5. High snap, but he's up to get it. And Lunders boots it out of there. It bounds at the 25. They let it roll, where it'll be downed. And mediocre field position upcoming for host Oakridge. 36-yard punt by Lunders. Beautiful evening, even though there's a slight mist hovering over the stadium floor. 65 degrees at kickoff time. Thank you, Rob. And a full house for the most part here on homecoming night for host Oakridge. So 1st and 10 upcoming for the hosts, operating from their 24. They stay on the ground for about a 3 or 4 yard pickup. Lampson is running an aerial circus here at Oakridge. He's having quite a year at the quarterback position and his wide receivers. He's got a flock of outstanding receivers that all have hauled in touchdown receptions this year. And there's that front line that does a good job protecting Lampson. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. They sweep to the near side. Can he turn the corner? He's got big room. Jacobs cuts it back in. Correction. Barthel with the sweep, and that caught DelOro pinched in tight, and he was able to get around the corner. Barthel really showed some good speed there. 1st down. 25 yards on the carry. The DelOro defense you see there has got their hands full tonight, playing a 4-3 defense. They stay on the ground. This one contained very well, maybe a 1 yard pickup. And there's the linebacking core with Aiden Foster in the middle, and then the DBs are going to be under the spotlight tonight trying to defend a nice brigade of receivers. But here is 2nd and 9 from the 46. Throw on the run, complete, nice gain, and very close to 1st down yardage.
Well, you'll see a lot of Evan Robinson tonight at tight end. I'll tell you, he's got a 17-point average per catch, Will, and it's a simple pass. They delay him a lot, and as you mentioned, that secondary is going to have their hands full with these receivers.
Oh, yeah. So it's a 1st down. Move the chains. Fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 from the DelOro 32. Motion shown in the backfield. Play fake. Throw to the opposite side. Wide open. Cut. To the 10, to the 5. Dropped inside the 5 on an excellent play that left him wide open. And he did a nice job after the catch, Coach.
Well, he certainly did, and we talked about Evan Robinson, and they have screens to everybody. You name it, they probably run more screen passes than anybody in town.
32 yards on the catch and run. 1st and goal. The football parked near the goal line. Call it the 1. So the first major threat here, deep in the red zone. Trojans banging on the door with a battering ram. Nice to have you with us tonight for Access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week. To the right side, to the goal line. Touchdown, Trojans. Well, Oakridge draws first blood.
Here you see Avante Jacobs, and I'll tell you, he's had a big year. He had 6 touchdowns with receptions, and he's a great runner. He is a threat, a 3-year starter.
So, on for the PAT, and Connor Edwards has done an exemplary job in the kicking department this year. Snap on target, Pooch on the way, and got it. At 8:46 of the 1st. The Trojans are on the board, leading at 7-0, and here's Jacobs taking it home for the pay dirt. Stay with us. Lots more to come on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearance side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgoodfeelbetter.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
Set to kick off, Connor Edwards for the Oakridge Trojans after having taken the lead 7-0 on the short TD sweep by Jacobs. A boot fading now and taken on the run at about the 15-yard line. And a nice little run back through heavy traffic is going to give DelOro some very good field position as they come out for their second possession.
Well, it certainly didn't take Lamson very long. 2 minutes and 4 seconds, 6 plays, 76 yards, and they really mix it up. I'll tell you, it's very impressive with the type of play calling, and they go for it. Whether it be first down, they'll pass on any down.
So they're set up at the 35. On the ground for short yardage off tackle right to the far hash mark.
Well, that linebacking core is very tough. LaPiana, Ennie, and Crozier, and Lozada. Ennie leading the team in tackles with 63 tackles coming into here in 5 ball games.
Well, that tackle registered 0 gain, 2nd and 10. Lunders keeps and comes to the near side. Heavy pressure. He gets away from that tackler. Flushed, trying to stay alive, and cannot. Unloads near the sideline. Boy, that was a fight for survival there.
Well,
so the Trojans showing plenty of D, and here's their alignment with that front 4. They play 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles, and the 3 linebacker alignment backing them up. And then there's the secondary. Loss of 8 on the play, 3rd and 18. The Golden Eagles back on their heels right now. They've been driven and scored upon, and in their second possession now, looking at a 3rd and 18, they've been unable to move the football thus far. 5 wide receivers, 3 to the near side. Lunders is going to run it, and it's not going to do what they wanted.
Well, it's pretty hard for your quarterback on a keeper. He lined up wide, 3 wide, to the wide side of the field, and Lunders nowhere to go. A lot of yardage to go, and now it's 3rd and 18, and I'll tell you, that defense is all over Lunders.
So we'll make it, after that play, a 4th down upcoming. They need 12, 4th and 12 at the 32, and again, punt formation shown by the Eagles. And Cal Lunders, low snap, he's down to get it. Boots it out of there. A line drive to the far side, trickles out of bounds near the Oakridge 35. So 2 possessions and 2 3 and outs with a punt on the DelOro side of the ledger. So the Lunders punt goes 30 yards as we near midway first here at the 6:52. And a first down upcoming for Oakridge. Trojans are out on top, 7-0 early here. Nice that you found some time to join us for this Sierra Foothill League matchup. Lamson fires left. He's got a short hook up. And the receiver driven out of bounds, a couple yards shy of the first down marker.
Yeah, it looked like he went to Barthel, like I said, between Barthel, Samad, and Jacobs, and of course tight end Robinson. They've got a core of receivers that run great routes. And I'll tell you, Lampson has plenty of time to throw the football.
He had Lozado in there also as a receiver on that play. 2nd and 2 from the Oakridge 45. They hand off and the play is smothered. Nowhere to go.
Well,
terrific individual stop that time issued by David Vesky, and we heard about him during the week. How excellent he is.
One of the best down linemen in the league, and it's rare that you see them go for a minus on a yard. Now we have 3rd and 5.
Oakridge,
they're changing.
with Lampson looking to the sideline after they saw that DelOro defensive stunt. Clock rolling as we reach the 6-minute mark, midway first. A bullet over the middle, and there's a hook up into DelOro territory. And first down yardage again for the Trojans.
Well, there you go. He's going to Barthel again, and number 5, and he threw a dart on that slanting route. As mentioned, between Barthel and Lozada, Samad, Jacobs, Robinson, a core of receivers you'll see involved tonight.
Still out of the pistol. They fake the run. He wants to throw, but he's smothered and sacked. Wow, that was heavy pass pressure right there, dropping Lampson on the Oakridge side of the midfield stripe. Here's how it happened. Second and 15 now. On the run, fire out to the near side. Nice completion. They're shy of a first by about 5, but a nice bite that time.
And there you see Lozada. You'll see him in a lot of positions tonight. Outstanding utility player. He can play anywhere well. He's a coach's dream because he can play running back, wide receiver, defensive back, and has filled in as an outside linebacker.
So it brings up a 3rd and 5 for the Trojans, working from the DelOro 41. On top, 7-0 here, midway first. Lampson fires left. Another hook up for a first down. Covered up immediately, but nice pinpoint passing in the short game shown by Lampson.
Well, he'll do that to you all night. Jacobs with another reception. They run those stop routes. They'll run those 8 to 12-yard routes, and all he needs is 2 seconds or less to get rid of the ball.
Gain of 8. 1st and 10 from the Eagles 33. The run play is stuffed and shoved back. 2 hard-nosed defenders in on that play. Enough is enough. Wesky 54 and Munch 55.
Well, they're trying to run inside a little bit to keep you honest, but I think that the way they're having people wide open and the protection of Lampson, I'm going to see him going to the air probably 60% of the time or more.
2nd and 11, a loss of 1 on that play. Credit the DelOro defensive line on that. From the Trojan, or the DelOro 34, Lampson being chased hard, running out of room, throws and dropped hard as he released. Heavy pressure on him that time from defensive end Jared Hill. Incomplete. 3rd and 11.
Big down here for the Golden Eagles. They can't afford to put certainly the Trojans in scoring position once again. And Trojans, with a decent kicker, are not in field goal range yet.
Well, certainly Jeff Walters and assistant head coach Bill Sherman for DelOro have to be happy about those last couple of plays where their D-line controlled the line of scrimmage. Homecoming night here at Oakridge High School. The Trojans a very festive display of traditional celebration on homecoming. But the game on the field right now, the big thing.
Well, Trojans got penalized for ineligible receiver downfield. That's going to put them in a real bind, Will. And they go from 3rd and 11 to kind of 3rd and miles.
Second down.
Right. They're going to get a chance to get that down over again.
Call it 2nd and 16. And they've got plenty to make up here, but they've got the guys to do it. Double wideouts to the near side. Lamson fires, got a man wide open at the 10 to the 5. Touchdown Trojans on a perfectly thrown ball to a wide open, couldn't be more open, Samad.
Number 3, you're going to see a lot of him.
A 40-yard aerial connection to the speedster. The ball was slightly underthrown, but once he grabbed it, the examination was over.
Well, he was wide open, sitting there about on the 7-yard line, Will, wouldn't he? There was nobody within 5 yards of him.
No, there wasn't. And that was a major concern for Jeff Walters and his staff, was the on the way, PAT straight and true at 3:22 of the first. Trojans back on the board. Well, the gift of grab is plentiful. It is abundant here at Oakridge. Lamson has some outstanding targets to fire to, leading the way of those pass catchers. Avante Jacobs, you see there his stats, 7 Ts, and Barthel, Samad, and Robinson outstanding in supporting roles.
Well, they are, and that asterisk down at the bottom is something special. Whether it be college level or high school, you have 4 receivers averaging better than 15 yards per catch. That's almost unheard of these days. And there you have it, a core of receivers, and you know this, that certainly after the catch, they're very dangerous, as we just saw Samad get free. Lamson with 7 out of 7, 122 yards to 5 different receivers. Will, is that mixing it up?
That's about as good as it gets right there. As a result, a 14-0 lead on the scoreboard as the Trojans prepare to kick off in the person of Connor Edwards. Deep receivers, Logan Shepard and Stone King, bounding and grabbed inside the 20. Looking for a block, and he got one to the 40, to the 45, shoved out near midfield. Excellent return right there by Stone King, and his hesitation to let that last block to develop was key.
Very much key. And he found a little daylight, he found a running play, and certainly capitalized on it.
Nice return out to the midfield stripe. 3:13 left here late in the first. In case you've just dialed in, it's been all Oakridge so far. They've driven the field twice for touchdowns. A short run by Jacobs and a 40-yard TD connection, Lamson to Samad. Fake the run and stumble and fall. Tough luck for the Eagles. Lunders couldn't get his footing, and he loses 5.
Well, right now they got to find something in some way to get on the scoreboard. We've got a minute and 50 seconds left in this quarter, and they've given up 14 unanswered points. And now with good field position, unfortunately taking a 5-yard loss on that first down, certainly hurt the Golden Eagles, not known for passing. They are a run ball club.
Well, they send 2 wideouts to the right, and whistles are going to kill this run play. Logan Foster was going to get the carry.
Timeout.
So a timeout taken on the field here. It comes at 2:35 of the first. And if this home crowd wanted anything more to be excited about, I don't know what that could be. They've seen 2 outstanding sustained drives resulting in touchdowns for the Trojans.
Well, as mentioned, having watched him during the week at practice, and we saw a bit of him last year at the end of a ball game, Will. Lampson for last year was very impressive as a sophomore. He is a young junior and has a bright future. He's sharp in the classroom as well. He's a high competitor in anything he does, and he certainly is looks very confident in the pocket.
Just 2:35 left here in the first period, and right now is the point in time when the visiting Golden Eagles need to make a statement, trailing 14-0. They run it up the gut and gain 3, and prior to that 3-yard gain, they had totaled a meager 2 yards in 7 plays. So credit the Trojan defense.
Well,
what's the penalty, Jim?
It looks like a hold, and let's see if the Trojans are going to take it.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, they took it all.
Yeah, that puts them in a big hole now. They've got to protect, certainly they got to protect quarterback Lunders. You know, that's a tough Oakridge defense, and he's getting a lot of heat from the front 4. And of course, Eni and Lozada and La Piana are tough linebackers.
2nd and 23 for Lunders and company. He's trying to run out of trouble and trapped, and he's going to be dropped after a tough couple of yards as he lunges forward to the 40.
Well, right now, certainly Oakridge is going to line up with any combination of 8 in the box if they have to. They're bringing that strong safety in and almost defying DelOro to throw the football.
It brings up a 3rd and 20 from the Eagle 40, and defiance is a pretty accurate term. Let's see if Lunders and company oblige and go upstairs. Clock rolling, 1.5 minutes left here in the first. We're at Trojan Stadium on the campus of Oakridge High School for this Sierra Foothill League battle. Lunders looks left all the way, and he's trapped and flushed. Straightens up and fires over the middle. Got a man wide open, dropped. That was a catchable ball for Bear Buse, incomplete. But a penalty marker dropped on the play back near the DelOro 30.
Yeah, looks like roughing the passer coming up. I think they were after Lundeen. I'm surprised they'd call that when he flushed the pocket.
Well, he stopped and straightened up and threw a nice strike about 30 yards down the field. Major penalty against the Trojans. I think you've got it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 44, defense, 15 yards, automatic 1st down.
Well, our stat man, Rob Bimson, picked that up right away, and I rarely see that roughing the passer giving them a 1st down, and particularly after he rolled out and flushed the pocket.
Their first down of the ball game. It comes via the penalty, and they set up at the Oakridge 45. Left side run, nice cut, frees the defender and barrel forward for a big 1st down. Best play of the game so far on offense for the Golden Eagles, and they made the most of it.
Well, they moved another quarterback in there, Lewis. That was Lewis on that run, and he looked quite different. He looked like had fresh legs there as DelOro has decided to make a change at that quarterback spot.
Evidently, Coach Walters and staff had seen enough for the time being. 1st down from the 32. He runs right, bobs inside and bounces outside, turns the corner and shoved out shy of the 1st down marker, but a nice gain.
Well, he's decided to go with Lewis there, and certainly we're watching a pretty good runner.
Pretty good, yes, I would say that's Ryan Lewis just a sophomore going into the fire. 2nd and 2. They blast ahead. They're shy of a first by a yard, 3rd and 1.
Young sophomore Lewis thrown on the fire line, Will, getting his feet wet. And I can understand why they're trying to make a change here. They got to do something to get this offense clicking, you know.
Well, this is what they want to do. They run straight forward and have the first down easy, plus about an extra 7 or 8 on that carry by Logan Foster.
Well, Ryan Lewis is giving them a little spark here.
We've played one from Oakridge High School in this Sierra Foothill League battle. 14-0 Oakridge leading DelOro on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Stay with us.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Well, a signature evening in El Dorado Hills for fall football, high school style here on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Right now, host Oakridge on homecoming night, leading at 14-0, but DelOro coming down the field on their 10th play, having reached the 17-yard line. Left side run, power, nice second effort there to reach the 11.
Well, DelOro's going back to what they do well. They have always been a great running football team with a quarterback that can is a triple threat. And here they are going with young Ryan Lewis, getting his feet wet, and certainly has given them that spark of energy that they need.
Up to the line. Major set of downs here. Mixed up and he runs it in.
Well, I'll tell you, he goes vertical.
Lewis snatched that ball back and sprinted for the goal line.
Well, they ran that inside read option, Will, and he, watch this here. He pulls it back, fakes inside, and follows him right into the hole. He uses that back as his lead blocker. Here they come, and they're coming right at you. They're in a big power set with an unbalanced line.
They try to blast it in there. Buse over the top, but he looks to be short. Let's see.
Well, at number seven, Foster. Watch Foster.
They line up again. He's right there. Touchdown, Golden Eagles, as they smack it in from the 1.
There you have Aiden Foster, back to back, coming in there, diving over the top.
Well, that was a concerted drive, and the Eagles showing the urgency of getting down the field to score.
Yes, give credit to the O-line blocking, and of course the spark by young sophomore Ryan Lewis, sparking and running that read option.
On the way and got it. 14-7. Lewis leads the scoring drive, and Foster cashes in. Stay with us.
Na 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 na. I love you so. I love you. I love you. La 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 la. La 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Well, we got a new ball game. Things have tightened up as the visiting DelOro Golden Eagles chop that 14 deficit in half. Now a 7-point cushion for the host Trojans, having played a terrific first quarter.
Well, they were in a hole, and that roughing the passer really gave them that first down and put a lot more into that drive.
That was the key significant difference. From the 10-yard line, Jacobs comes to the near side and runs into a crowd as he reaches the 30-yard line. So pretty good field position upcoming for Oakridge here, sitting on a 14-7 lead early in the second.
That last drive, 13 plays, 4 minutes and 43 seconds. They went 50 yards for the Golden Eagles' first score of the night.
Trojans dispatch a couple of wideouts to the right. And they sweep that direction with big speed. Boy, that was fast. Sealed off pretty good, but Jacobs is a bullet. Gain of 3. Second and 7 football at the Trojan 31 after the gain of 3. Lamson, they run wide right, big room, right sideline, one man back, and he makes the play to prevent the TD. Well, that was really a blast. Warfield had open running room down that sideline. Let's take a look at the replay here. The big play of 34 yards sets up Oakridge here at the DelOro 35. Same formation it looks like. Lamson to throw, looks left all the way and gets flushed out of there and dropped after scrambling for a yard. Call it 2nd and 9 from the 34. Clock rolling with 9:13 left early here in the second. Junior QB Lamson has this play blown dead. Oh, they're going to call this penalty against DelOro. They said the Eagles were offside on the play. It's going to cost them 5. 2nd and 4. Ball advanced inside the 30 to the DelOro 29 on that 5-yard gift. Tighter formation this time. They want to run the football, but DelOro will not let them. They had multiple defenders in the hole, and Warfield had no room to go.
Well, what's really impressive is Vesky, Black, Munch, and Hill. I'll tell you, they're tough to run against. And Oakridge has tried inside the tackles with no success. And after that big run of Warfield set him up down here, Warfel's got 61 yards, and of course most of it was on that big carry.
So they lose 3 on the play. Tough D by the Eagles. Upstairs, Lamson fires incomplete under heavy pressure.
Well, he had Lozada out in the open field, but Lozada wasn't even turned around. Ready, as you mentioned, Will, he had to get rid of the ball that time for the first probably time tonight where he was under heavy heat.
And that's a compliment to the Trojans' offensive line because DelOro does have a terrific pass rush.
Okay, they're changing the play from sideline from Coach Watson.
4th and 7, all or nothing. To the end zone. Incomplete. That looked like a catchable pass right there and through the arms.
Well, Lozada was hands right there.
Let's take another look. I don't know if the defender bothered him on that or not. A possible lack of concentration. Nice throw by Lamson, but the ball goes over. So after their scoring drive, DelOro does get a stop after the Trojans marched a good bit of field position at them, but they open shop from their 32 with better than 8 minutes to go in the half.
And there's Lewis.
He's going to go left and turn the corner, picks his way, and a first down with a 13-yard run. Well, so far, haven't got any criticism for the young man.
Well, let's put it this way. They needed a spark. They needed an energy shot. And there you see him. He goes vertical. I'm impressed. He's not an east-west guy. He's a north-south. Watch him turn that corner and get upfield.
12 yards on this carry. Took a couple of shots. He runs pretty much straight up. So from the 44, this time it looks like a passing formation of 4 wideouts, 2 and 2.
Yeah, 2 by 3 there, and be interesting because
2 by 3, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going to. So let's see if he runs that quarterback draw again.
From the far hash mark, and he does, Coach. Just what you thought, and he spins ahead for about a 5-yard gain to the 49-yard line.
Well, when they go with that formation, when you got a good running quarterback, and he's 2 by 3 or 3 by 2s, he's going to play a little 6-on-6 football inside.
Here's another look.
There you have it. But even with no hole there, Will, he does get vertical, doesn't he? He goes hard.
On 2nd down now, DelOro finding its offense now after the switch in quarterbacks. The left side run is shut down pretty well, shy of a first. It's going to bring up 3rd and short now for the Eagles.
Well, I'll tell you, he picked up yards after contact. There wasn't much there. And now with a 3rd and 2. Have a look at this. He's taken a lot of hits. He's a big, strong young man, and he gets vertical, and I like his yards after contact.
Clock rolls at 6:55, nearing midway 2nd. Close ball game. After the Trojans jumped out 14-0, DelOro scored, and now driving again near midfield. They go the hard way, and they've got first down yardage. Forward progress is going to put him, looks like, at the 45, and that should be enough.
Well, the thing that's good about this is they are keeping that vaunted Trojan offense off the field by dominating the. This is what DelOro does well. This is their bread and butter, and a ball control type offense, keeping the Oakridge off the field.
From the Oakridge 45-yard line. Is that a penalty flag down on the field?
Too many men on the field. Illegal substitution.
Oh,
offense,
my goodness.
5-yard penalty. First down.
12 angry men, huh? Okay.
Well,
tough luck.
It is a little bit of delay action in that one, wasn't it? Well,
-5. 1st and 15 from the midfield stripe now for DelOro.
Okay, they're running that 2x3 again, Will. And they didn't throw the last time. Let's see what they're gonna do.
They fake the throw and he tries to run and play is strung out. A flag flies and it's a big loss.
Well, to me, it looked either like a mask or a hold.
A hold against DelOro, which will further compound the Eagles' problems on this drive.
Once again, a lot of pressure by Elijah Hansen on that outside backer. Nowhere for Lewis to go.
Wants them to go back, take him back.
There's our game official, Mr. Thomas Stewart, wearing the white cap and keeping things orderly with that declaration of penalty.
54 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, David Vesky gets singled out with the hand in the cookie jar, so 1st and 28. Fire left, nearly picked, incomplete. That would have been an easy 6. Well, the NCOA has assigned Thomas Stewart and his crew to keep things fair and square. Zazer, the umpire, Chris Watkins, our line judge, and the Phillipses, Arik, the head linesman, and Mike, the back judge. Well, Coach Walters pacing that sideline. Things could be worse and looked a lot worse earlier in this half. But DelOro is close to within 7. A flush and another penalty marker comes out near the end of that play.
Well, suddenly we're getting a rash of penalties here, Will.
It is a rash.
That one could be turned down. I think that Oakridge wants the football. Let's see what they do here, because they want the football back.
They do want it back. DelOro continues to work backwards. They need to reach the Oakridge 35.
I'm surprised. Once again, I guess they're still going to take it.
Moving back. Way back.
Holding, 56 offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, second down.
That time, Caden Morales, left guard, called for the hold. Second and 38. Wow. A penalty marker comes out at the end of that play, a jarring shot in the secondary.
Well,
and
they're calling it against number 3, and he went for the football.
Samad went for the football. And there you see him. He had the rushing touchdown to start the scoring tonight. And
they went back to Lewis on that halfback pass.
So our officials getting things squared away. And we'll take another look at that.
Okay, here you go. There's a handoff and a reverse back.
Okay, they pick up the flag and disallow the penalty. Clean coverage, solid hit, and no deal.
Well, if Oakridge punt return people can see the ball, because we've got some density coming in here on this field tonight, and a high punt may not be totally visible here as Oakridge is finally going to get the ball back.
Plenty of time here. We're just at the midway mark, a little bit more than that. 5:26 left here in the second.
I can't tell if it's low-hanging cloud or that barbecue, Rob.
The run played nets next to nothing for Warfield. Well, perhaps it is attributable to fog or barbecue smoke. Whichever it is, it adds another little dimension here. Somewhat of an eerie sight on the floor of Trojan Stadium here at Oakridge High School. The host Trojans on top, 14-7 here in the second quarter.
Down goes Lamson.
Heavy pressure. That pass rush we spoke of is still alive and well.
Well, what I see, there's been some changes, some blitzing, and I'll give that coaching staff for DelOro. They made some adjustments here. They knew that if they don't start putting pressure on Lamson, it's going to be a long night.
Well, I'd say that was a fair share of pressure coming from Bear Buse and pressure from Regan Amy. 3rd and 17 from the 46. Lamson stringing the play out, fires, has a completion to the 44-yard line, shy of the first.
Well,
it'll bring up 4th and long.
I would not be surprised, even though the ball is only at midfield, do not be surprised if Lamson and company go for it.
What kind of a spot did they give him on that?
Oh my goodness. He must have stepped out of bounds, Will.
Either that or there's a penalty we missed. Because they had that marked way up the field.
Illegal man downfield. Apparently they had a lineman downfield on that pass play. And that's too bad, because I'll tell you, Lamson was trapped and he actually had gained some yards.
Let's get the call here from our referee, Thomas Stewart.
Ineligible downfield. Offense, 5 yards. Previous spot. 3rd down.
Ow.
So 3rd and 22, I suppose. They're going to park the football inside the 40. Lamson looking left all the way, fires deep sideline. Overthrown, well defended. Good position in the secondary applied by Blake DeMar.
Yeah, that's going to, here comes the punt team, and you know.
I should say Dylan Shannon.
I'm a little surprised when you, again, 4th down and approximately 30 yards to go, why I thought they'd run one of their many screen plays and maybe try to isolate Avante.
Well, might see that later, Coach. 3:36 left, flip side of quarter number 2. After the early touchdown drives by the Trojans to go 14-0, things have settled down, while DelOro has driven for a score to tighten things up. Punt formation shown, no guarantee. High snap up to get it. Nice booming punt under some pressure, and it's going to take a Oakridge roll and trickle in to the 10.
Wow.
To the 10.
Well,
59 yards, 5-9 on that boot.
Well, you've got to feel those kind of punts, because it cost them an additional 15+ yards.
So DelOro gets a stop, and with 3:24 to go in the half, they'll open shop with poor field position at the Eagle 10.
Well, apparently since that long run by Warfield down the field for a 34-yard run. They've had a plus 10 yards since then, Will, and they've been without the football for quite a bit.
Okay, he's flushed out, spins away and works to the sideline, trapped and grabbed at the 10. A lot of hard work for no gain.
Well, it's a long night ahead. It's not halftime yet, but young Ryan Lewis is certainly got to know where he's been tomorrow morning and spent Friday night, because he's taken on some hits.
Clock rolling at the 2:50 mark.
9 rushes for 48 yards, and he's taken a few hits along the way.
Twin wideouts to the near side. He fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and barrels over the 15 to about the 17.
Well, I think you're going to see, with only 2. Once again, Lewis with his 10th carry. And, you know, with this 2 minutes and change on the clock, Will, they don't have the type of offense that can get them down the field fast. So I think they're going to be content to go in down only 1 score.
3rd and 3, a loose football. He tried to fall on it and muffed it. And I believe the Trojans have it. They do. A fumble recovery by the defense on a play that was not made.
Ryan Enney, number 33, with their leading tackler this year and one of the top linebackers in the league. Watch this.
First and goal from the 6. Can they capitalize? Lamson rolls, fires, wide open, touchdown Trojans. 1 play, 6 yards, easy money. Lozada with the grab.
Oh, very costly turnover, costly. And I know that young Ryan Lewis will love to have that play back.
The lead stretches to 20-7. Connor Edwards on for the PAT. He has had a superlative season thus far. On the way and got it. At 1:50 of the second, they're on the board again on the easy throw and catch for the score. We'll be right back.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
Thank you very much. A little bit of indecisiveness there after that 3rd Trojan touchdown. I don't know what the conference was about, but.
Well, coach doesn't like that over there because they had really roughing the kicker, which will be penalized on this kickoff. And certainly I'm sure that the Aries marching it off, and there is the DelOro coach not very happy about that.
The kickoff will come from the DelOro 45. I would imagine if he chooses to do so, Connor Edwards could park this for a touchback.
Well, I assume that's what he plans to do.
And that one is going to go well out of the end zone for the touchback. So DelOro with 1:50 left will have the football at their 20 after having given the Trojans a prime opportunity for a touchdown. Connor Edwards has done a marvelous job in the place kicking this season for head coach Cavalier and the Trojans. And his counterpart, Logan Shepard of DelOro, equally excellent. On the season, Connor Edwards has hit 25 out of 25 PATs and 4 of 5 field goals. On first down, the pile moves forward. A minute 22 clock rolling down here late in the second quarter. In case you've just arrived or just tuned in, Oakridge has commanded the game from the outset, leading at 21-7 now. Big room up the middle. The carry out to the 40.
Aiden Foster picking up big yardage inside.
Big enough to go 12 and move the chains with a minute to go here in the half. He fakes the handoff, keeps it and finds a hole. Big speed into Trojan territory before he's finally knocked down in the secondary after reaching the 45 or so. 17 on the carry, but it looks like it may be neutralized.
I'm impressed with Lewis. He runs like a running back. He really does. Where he fits in their future, I'm sure, if you run that read option, having a guy like that, I'd say we haven't seen much of his passing tonight.
No, we haven't, Coach. He does run the way you said. To me, his speed is way above average.
Very definitely. He gets up the field north-south. And right now, they certainly have, in this second quarter, particularly since Lewis has come in, has turned the table on clock management.
After the penalty, 1st and 19, Lewis is going to air this out for the sideline off the hands of his intended receiver. That was a pretty excellent strike there to Stone King.
It was, and they had 3 defenders there. But he showed me a pretty good arm there.
Yes, he did. He did not short arm it.
No, he came over the top, and I'm sure with 2 years to play, this young man will improve game by game, particularly on his passing. He has, it's like having another running back in that backfield. 2 timeouts remaining for the Golden Eagles. He's going long.
Wide open, overthrown at the 30. Boy, that was a fortunate break there for the Trojans because Bear Buse had the secondary beat flat.
Well, he put a ball 45 to 47 yards in the air well with that nose up.
Yeah, a strike would have been a TD, but it's an incompletion. 3rd and 19. He's 0 for 4 passing, but those last 2 throws were pretty good. We'll see how that continues. We got a timeout taken here with 19 seconds and a little bit of a debate on the field. Coach Walters in between our umpire and referee, giving them each an earful.
Well, I think where he's got to be careful here is I look for Coach Walters with only 19 seconds to run the football well. And I'm going to tell you this, if he puts it in the air again, he cannot risk a pick.
No, he cannot. However,
he cannot risk a pick here.
Well, we'll see what the Brain Trust has in mind. But it appeared that he did have a point of discussion here with our officials.
Well, definitely. Certainly we can read lips there. And maybe at halftime we'll find out what that was all about.
So here we go, 19 seconds left, 3rd and 19 for the Eagles, down by 14. He's flushed, he's gonna run it. Defense converges, off the hands of Stone King, incomplete. That was a pretty nice throw right there on the run.
Well, he was, and with 9 seconds, the kicking team is coming in. And once again, being very careful because the 2 return people that the Trojans have in Samad number 3 and Jacobs number 2 can go to the house. They have to be extremely careful here.
Well, let's see what kind of directional punting they have in mind.
Yes, definitely.
Solo safety at the 35 in the middle of the field. So let's see if he goes left or right and makes him range for it. Timeout taken by the Trojans with 9 seconds left. So the masterminding continuing to churn. We mentioned earlier the excellent kickers these 2 teams have going for them and how accurate they are. As we see here with the graphic, DelOro's Logan Shepard, 16 out of 17 in the PAT department, 6 for 6 field goaling with a long of 39. And Connor Edwards, after tonight's kicking, 25 of 25 in the PAT, 4 of 5 field goaling with a long of 34. I do not see how their coaches could expect much more or how they could be disappointed.
No, I'm sure that Coach Walters and Coach Cavalier are very content with those kind of kickers at the high school level. Believe me, they don't come along every day.
We'll probe a little bit more into that later. Right now, though, it's a 4th down punt situation for DelOro. 1 safety back, and we'll see where Lunders goes with it. Big rush, he's in trouble and dropped. Fumble, Trojans have it inside the 20. My, 3 seconds left, clock has been stopped. The snap looked like it was on target, unless I missed something.
Well, we'll take another look here maybe and see that fumble snap. Well, it was a little aside, and he tried to run with it. Wow, you know where he's going. He's got a good field goal kicker. Instead of going for the end zone, unless you've got a fake field goal going.
1st and 10, 3 seconds left. Field goal unit out there. We just spoke of the field goaling efficiency by both squads. Connor Edwards, this will be from the 25 if they get it off. And a 35-yard attempt. So a timeout taken. It's taken by DelOro.
I think coach is concerned about a fake field goal here.
I would think so.
And with Lozada as the holder, anything can go. He's played almost every position on this football team.
Well, he's a key backup at 6 different positions. I don't see that too often.
Not very often, exactly. And again, he's got a good kicker here. From that distance, I would assume the high percentage of putting 3 on the board.
With what he's shown this year, I would say a very high percentage, provided the mechanics are in order.
Yes, that's key. And whether they want to gamble here and go to the corner for a pass.
It looks to be a 35-yard attempt. We'll see. Snap good. Boot on the way. got it from 35. The 2 turnovers cost DelOro 10. And the clock shows zeros. We have played 1 half. And the score goes to 24-7. Little self-destruction in the final 5 minutes has really put the Eagles behind the 8 ball, Coach.
As mentioned, when the clock was ticking away again, they threw a couple of passes there. And quite frankly, I thought maybe they'd run their run plays, use the clock, and never have to get to a punt and just run the clock out.
Let's check in with Lauren Goodman, standing by with a special guest. Goody?
Well, I'm here with the leader of the Trojans. Coach, talk to me about that first half. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it went well. A couple penalties kind of took us out of some first down opportunities on offense. Another penalty kind of kept the drive going for them. Other than that, we're playing well and just need to keep the momentum going.
What is the conversation like when you go in with your team right now, kind of getting them settled after ending that first half?
We've struggled in the third quarters this year, so the message is going to be to come out strong in the third quarter and pretend it's the first quarter and come out just like we did at the beginning of the game and try to maximize opportunities here in the third quarter.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Will.
Thanks, Goody. Well, he's not taking anything for granted. He's got great respect for his opponents. And that last 10-point flurry on the turnovers, I'm sure, set pretty well with Coach Cavalier.
Yes, it's very unfortunate for the Golden Eagles, Will, because I'll tell you, they were in the game only down 14-7 at that time.
Stay with us. Lots more to come this evening on homecoming night here at Oakridge High School. This is Access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay. Right? If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
It's halftime here at Oakridge High School on homecoming night, and the hosts are up 24-7 over DelOro. Let's join Lauren Goodman down at field level.
Well, guys, tonight is one of the probably most amazing nights here at Oakridge, and I'm here with two of the leaders of all of these festivities. Let's start first with Aaron Palm, the principal here at Oakridge. You're dressed up, got spirit. What's going on today?
Tonight is Staff Appreciation Night. I mean, we got the class in 1989 here doing their reunion in the stands. We got our kids in the O-Zone. And then tonight we always join the football program, and we appreciate our teachers because none of this happens without teaching and learning in the classroom. So the teachers come, they bring all their kids, I barbecue for them, and we have a great night out here under the lights.
Now, there's a ton of school spirit. How has it been this week on campus, given that it's been homecoming?
Well, you know, the homecoming's been great. You know, the power outages kind of thought it was going to suck the wind out of it a little bit, but as you can see tonight, it did none of that. The kids were back today. We had our rally today. We had our homecoming parade around the neighborhood. So the energy has been tremendous.
Well, tonight you're not being the principal. You're actually on the grill. What are you over there cooking, and are you actually a good cook?
You know, the outfit makes the cooking seem like it's better than it is. It's more show than go. But we're doing burgers, we're doing veggie burgers, we're throwing some chicken patties on there. We're keeping it real.
Well, it seems like the teachers are getting really treated well here, and a great night to appreciate it. Thank you so much, Aaron Palm. Thanks for talking to me. Now, on the athletic side of things, I'm here with Steve White. You are the AD here at Oakridge. What's going on other than football right now in the fall?
Well, you know, our fall sports are going strong. Right now our volleyball team's very, very good, competitive, and playing in one of the toughest leagues around. Our water polo teams are competing well. We got women's golf taking place, and you know, they're showing really well in the SFL. You know, you have our cross country team. They're at a big meet this week, and the girls' side is really strong. I know girls tennis is doing really well as well. So I expect most of our teams to make the playoffs, and once you get there, anything can happen, as we're seeing in the Major League Baseball right now too.
Now, you talked about the SFL and your team's kind of getting ready for playoffs. What does the SFL mean as far as the competition that you guys see on a day-to-day basis, and how is that impacting or benefiting to Oakridge?
Well, I think you know, you're challenged day in, day out with every team that we play in the SFL in almost every sport. So it's very well balanced. No one individual sport dominates the standings other than maybe Folsom football of late, and so it just makes you better and prepares you for playoffs. So you're constantly in playoff matches throughout your league season, which really helps when you get into the postseason.
Now, I'm a basketball junkie, so I want to know what's going on with winter sports and how is basketball looking right now for the Trojans?
Well, currently right now we had a late departure on our boys' side, so we're interviewing for a boys basketball coach next Wednesday, and so that's up in the air. But I know our guys are going to be rally around the new coach and really competing too well. On the girls' side, you know, we returned most everybody, so we expect to be have a better finish to our season than we did last year. And then you know, soccer has done really, really well in the wintertime. And of course, we got wrestling that's really strong, and the SFL is really dominant in that as well. So, and then our Alpine team is, you know, they took combined state champions last year in the men and women's combined, and our board team took first, and it's a really program that's really started to excel here. And so again, looking for a really exciting winter season as well.
Well, it seems like you guys are becoming a powerhouse within yourself. Thank you, Steve, for that little bit of information. Will.
Thanks, Goody. Yes, lots going on here at Oakridge, and certainly Steve White has had his fingers on the pulse with girls basketball for many years, one of the best in the area. Well, there's always a set of rankings to evaluate, and Domino's dozen is no exception to that.
Well, here we go. Folsom's still on top. Their only loss this year is to powerhouse De La Salle. Intercom, Terry Stark's ball club, still unbeaten. Elk Grove on the rise every week. Coach Heffernan settling in there tonight here. Number 4, Oakridge, and you're looking at them with a ton of talent despite a few injuries. Monterey Trail at 5. Capital Christian moving right along. Only has 2 losses, but they're their state powerhouses. Rockland at 7, losing last week to Folsom. Cosumnes Oaks with a win over Jesuit last Saturday, having some big games coming up in that tough Delta. Center having a phenomenal year, beating Lincoln last week. Rio Linda with only losses to Center. DelOro you're looking at tonight, and Granite Bay fresh from a loss over to DelOro. Davis having to play a number of the top teams in the Delta in the ensuing weeks. Pleasant Grove right in hunt there. Lincoln having a good year with only 1 loss. Joey Montoya's Placer Club coming back again. Vista del Lago with Mike Strubing at the helm has done extremely well. Oakmont having a great year. Roseville under Joe Catalico. Whitney bringing up that number 20 spot and having their share of upsets. Christian Brothers, Bear River, Colfax, Union Mine fresh off a great victory, and tied for that last spot on the bubble, Jesuit and Rosemont coming off their loss. Jesuit with a huge game tomorrow versus Elk Grove on their site. Will?
Yes, that will be huge to both teams. It's a matinee over there in Carmichael, and that would be one to go to if you got nothing else planned. That sure would be quite a doozy. Here at Oakridge High School on homecoming night. The host Trojans are rolling 24-7 over the visiting DelOro Golden Eagles, and they're ahead 24-7 because much of tonight's game correlates directly to the keys and the matchups of tonight's contest, and the Imperator has a clear view.
Well, let's go right to MPT. Mistakes, penalties, turnovers, and of course, penalties there. We had a slew of them, all within about a 5-minute period that kind of put DelOro on their back. Turnovers have killed them. These last 2 turnovers were extremely costly, resulting in 10 points. So there you are, the battle up front. And you know what? That battle up front is pretty good. They've got great pass protection on the side of the Trojans, but they haven't been able to run the football that effectively against that DelOro front. So there's still battles going on in that front, and I'm sure they'll continue the second half. Justin Lamson has had tremendous protection and had very few sacks. Lamson with 7 for 12, 128 yards, and 0 for 3 in his last 3, finally getting a little pressure. So protection is important in that second half. He was untouched in that first quarter.
Well, we speak of matchups all the time, which side may have an advantage here or there, and tonight that did have some good matchups.
Well, yes, that passing attack of Oakridge, if they protect Lamson with the receiving core that they have, is very dangerous, putting a lot of heat on that secondary. And I say the best thing is the pressure which they applied here in the last 5-10 minutes of this second quarter. Next thing is the Eagles clock control run game, and you saw a version of that in that second quarter. They drove the field. They got young Lewis, sophomore Ryan Lewis in the football game. They controlled the clock and went right down the field. And, of course, big play versus DelOro coverage. And we saw that right away when you got receivers like Samad, who goes to the house. Jacobs, very dangerous. Barthel. And, of course, tight end Robinson also was very dangerous after the catch. You came in here tonight with that receiving core averaging over 15 yards per catch. That is tremendous in high school.
No doubt. Well, let's rejoin Lauren Goodman. I think she has some knowledge of what's going on elsewhere around the area. Goody?
Well, Will, there is some interesting things going on right now. Down at Davis, it is a 14-7 game. Pleasant Grove not able to get back in it yet, but not too far from here, Folsom is over Whitney right now, 14-3. Also, another interesting one that we didn't have on the lookout, but I thought this would be interesting to you guys up there. Sac High has a lead over Capital Christian, 8-0 at the half.
Well, yes, it does, Goody, have a particular interest. Certainly the underdog Dragons, probably surprising Casey Taylor and company with that early lead. We'll see how that holds up. And the scores from around the area will continue to extrapolate. We're going to come back in about a minute and continue our halftime conversation here on homecoming night at Oakridge High School. Stay with us. Nice to have you with us this evening for Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. I'm Will James along with Jim Domino and Lauren Goodman. It is homecoming night here at Oakridge, and the hosts are leading comfortably over rival DelOro by a count of 24-7. And it has been a game punctuated with a cluster of penalties and some sloppy play resulting in turnovers that has basically showed some of the direction in tonight's game. But we're going to bounce our attention down the field level and rejoin Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Well, guys, now I'm with the leader of DelOro. And how was the halftime talk with your team?
Obviously, we just try to have them focus on the little things, not scoreboard watching. Been doing football a long time. I know there's no way to score 17 points on one play, so we're just going to try to do it one play at a time. And, you know, we gave them 10 points right there at the end of the half just by not valuing the football. And, you know, we're going to focus on doing the best we can to win every play in the second half.
Now, Coach, talk to me about what are going to be the keys for you guys immediately jumping out in the third to kind of take control of this ball game and get it back swinging your way.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be simple. You know, we're kicking off, so looking for the defense to try to get off the field and get the offense some field position. And then we got to score when we get the ball on offense. You know, it's a simple game. You score more points than the other team, you seem to win.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Good luck in the second half. Will.
Thanks, Goody. Well, part of coaching is composure. The Sierra Foothill League, generally regarded as the toughest in the entire section, and there's a look at the current standings.
Well, take a look at that, and the thing you see Folsom, Rockland, Granite Bay, DelOro, Oakridge, Whitney, Grant, but look up at the goal portion. DelOro is above with a 1-1 coming in here tonight. They're both identical records as far as overall. Oakridge leading tonight. You're not used to, when you look at these charts annually, you're not used to seeing Oakridge sitting down here at a 5 spot. And my prediction is as the season ensues, the next couple of weeks, they're going to be somewhere between 2 and 3. And we'll find out. Now, this game's far from over, but this Oakridge is not used to this spot. They're usually, if they're not first, they're second, and very often second behind Folsom. In a very tough Sierra League. They can play with anybody in the state.
Tough enough to see Grant in the basement. That's rather a shock. But let's take a look at what's ahead for each of these two teams in the remaining league games, Jim.
Well, when you look ahead, the Golden Eagles have Grant and Rockland at home, which is good for the Golden Eagles. And certainly they got to go to Folsom on their last game, and that's not a good thing. But as you look at the remaining games for Oakridge, we got one puzzler there, and I'll get to it in a moment. They're going to play Whitney at home next week here, and then they go to Granite Bay. And those are two tough games. So they go on the road to Granite Bay. They host Whitney. But look at the last one. This is a non-league game versus Elk Grove. Both of them are in different leagues. Very rare do you play a non-league game on the 10th game of the year. Okay? Elk Grove possibly could be in first or second place in the Delta at that time versus a tough Oakridge ball club. And that is very unusual, Will.
Unusual, it's beyond that. I don't know how that came to pass, but there it is, clear as a bell on the schedule in week 10. These teams have battled for a half. We're nearing second half action, but let's take a look by the numbers at our first half stats.
Well, look at those rushing yards. And here you have DelOro trailing in this football game and still ahead by rushing yards. And that second quarter with young Lewis at the helm, they started to run the football, which they're known for. Passing yards, 0. They don't have 1 yard passing to 128. Of the 128, majority of the 128 came in the first quarter. Total offense, 180 to 88. First downs are even. Penalties, 55. That has hurt the Golden Eagles. And turnovers, 3-0. I don't have to tell you that those last two turnovers have cost the Golden Eagles 10 points. Time of possession, Golden Eagles have had the ball longer, and that's probably their best defense, and they know that. Hold on to that football, good clock management on offense, and keep that vaunted Oakridge Trojan offense off the field.
That would be in their best interest, I would say. I know one thing, most coaches would prefer to be on top 24-7 than trailing by that count. And that's exactly where Eric Cavaliers Ball Club is at the halfway mark.
Thank you, Rob. Rob Bimpson doing a great job with those stats.
I second that. A superlative job. A individual who specializes in detail. We're going to come right back after this short break in time for our second half kickoff. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearance side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgoodfeelbetter.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
It's a beautiful evening up here in El Dorado Hills and a lovely setting here at Trojan Stadium. If you've never been here, you should make it a point to catch a football game here under these conditions. A delightful experience, and tip of the cap to the entire Oakridge High School staff and administration for our accommodations for tonight's telecast. Well, at the halfway mark, Coach Domino, 24-7 is what I would consider a comfortable lead. But in the words of many experts of analysis, no lead is safe.
It certainly isn't. You know, you play 4 quarters, and that's the reason why you play 4 quarters. We've only finished 2, and certainly DelOro showed us a flash of light in that second quarter, despite being down 14-0, and they got back in the ball game. But unfortunately, in the last couple of 3 minutes, by virtue of those turnovers, they fell behind again. But this game is far from over, and these 2 Sierra Foothill teams, I'll tell you, are going to battle right down to the wire.
Well, you can see the excitement in the crowd here at Trojan Stadium on homecoming night. Lots of festivities typical of this event, and they have turned out, and their outstanding marching band on hand to keep us entertained with some sweet music. Well, both clubs back out to the field, to their respective sidelines, and it will be 24-7 Oakridge in command.
I think we're going to see more of Mr. Robinson, number 8. He caught 2 for 45 yards during that first drive, and they haven't gone back to that tight end. They hit him early. They hit him on a nice screen. They have an assortment of screens, which I think we're going to see them do that because suddenly Lampson has come under duress. In that first quarter, they didn't touch him. But now they're coming hard with 8 in the box saying, hey, we're not going to give you much time.
It's evident that they have succeeded in that on a number of plays in the second quarter. And they had a highly respectable pass rush coming into this game statistically and with their personnel. So one way to get back in the game is with tremendous defense, and they're going to have to shut down Oakridge in order to get back into the game.
Well, they certainly do, and I think this first possession is extremely important, Will. They kick off to the Trojans here. They cannot afford to give up another score immediately following this half and play catch-up the balance of the half.
DelOro to kick off to open second half action. Twin returners deployed at the 10-yard line. It's fading to the 10. Jacobs, a little sidestep move, gets to the 20 and not much more. Falls forward to the 22 or so. Average field position upcoming here for the Trojans on their first second half possession.
Well, they've got to drive the football approximately 78 yards, and this is not that great a field position. Let's see what happens here with the Trojans unable to run against this DelOro D.
3 wide receivers to the right. Quick shot out to the left, completion out across the 30, close to a first down, and Lamson just ate that up.
Well, if you're going to give him a cushion with the corners and get the ball out under 2 seconds, he can nickel and dime 8, 10, 12 yards right down the field.
They're a yard shy, about a half yard shy. We'll call it 2nd and 1. Football at the 31. He wants to pass, but gets rushed and dropped. Well, there's the pass rush we spoke of coming alive right before your very eyes on that play. And they've got some tenacious pass rushers on that D line. It's the 3rd sack of the game for the Eagles, and here's number 3. Boy, oh boy, they were on him.
Huge loss. Approximately a 9-yard loss on that play.
3rd and 9, he fires over the middle, low and incomplete. Double coverage there, but he put it in a good spot that could be caught but not picked.
Well, they felt Lozada trapped the football, and right off the first series now, here's Oakridge lining up in punt formation, and that's what the Golden Eagles wanted to do. They should get the ball back in decent field position.
They deploy just a single safety. Bearview standing outside the Oakridge 45. Let's see what happens on this. I think they might have something else in mind.
Well, they think a punt block's on, so they brought the flankers in.
A left-footed boot, and Buse ranges for it. An excellent field position upcoming after just a 28-yard punt. The Eagles will open shop at their 49.
Excellent field position, Will.
Well, they did what they needed to do and got an immediate stop. Now we'll see if they can do something with it on offense.
It's rare that you see a ball club without a passing yard at the halftime. And this is what we've seen. And let's see what happens here. Here's young Lewis back leading this football team out of the huddle.
Triple wides to the near side, 2 to the far side. Now they shift. Power run to the left, and it goes nowhere. Perhaps a loss as they trap Aiden Foster.
Well, that's excellent coverage. They're tough to run around. And they're very tough on that outside.
Defensive end Elijah Hansen with the stop, and it is a 1-yard loss. We'll call it 2nd and 11. Ball back to the 48. Same formation. This time he wants to throw out to the left side. A diving grab on a low strike. About a 5-yard pickup, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
He hit DeMar, picking up 3, Will. He needs a long 7 now.
That is the first pass completion of the game for DelOro. Let's see if they can continue that, but they face a 3rd and 7 from the Oakridge 47. He wants to throw over the middle, broken up, incomplete.
Well,
that was dangerous. He was going for Aiden Mack on the play.
Avante Jacobs all over that, and he got a piece of the ball. One of the best defensive backs in town there. Avante Jacobs, 3-year starter. There you see him break that up, almost pick it.
Yeah, he kind of floated that pass instead of gunning it in there with tight coverage. So, 4th and 7. DelOro shows punt formation with 3 blockers for added protection. Line drive, bounding at the 25. And they field it at the 15-yard line. Big speed, look out now. He's going to go to the outside. Jacobs really putting on a show. with some dazzling speed.
Well, I'll tell you something. Despite nursing a tender ankle, he still, maybe doesn't have quite the moves he had back early season, but I'll tell you, he's still dangerous.
Well, he and his injured ankle just ran for 26 to give them some pretty good field position on a 35-yard punt. So the Trojans in good shape with a 1st and 10 from their 39.
Well, Coach Cavalier kept him out of contact all week long, knowing what he can do and saving him for the ball game, and I don't blame him one bit.
Lamson hands off, and they come to the near side. They sweep with Warfield, and it's a productive gain. They got strung out. It took a long time for that to finally get shut down, but he runs for 4.
It sure did. It was almost like in slow-mo, wasn't it?
It was. 2nd and 6 from the 43. Early here in the 3rd quarter. Happy to have you with us for tonight's telecast of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Lamson looks right, keeps it, and runs for a couple before he's trapped. They're short.
Well, he wisely held on to the ball and picked up a couple. And there was nobody open. He started to go there and decides, hey, I'll just take it up the middle for a couple, and now he's in a 3rd and 3.
Boy, I was impressed with that defensive play right there by 55 Carter Munch. He played off a block and made the solo tackle to make it 3rd and 3. Scrambling away, he gets away and fires on the run to an open receiver, grabbed, and he's inside the 30-yard line, but it's incomplete. Didn't hold it long enough. Excellent try.
Well, Samad would like to have that back and give credit to Lamson, try to make something out of nothing, really. He scrambled out of there and showed me a lot on his extending the plays. Jacobs normally is going to hold on to that one. Jacobs and Samad, 2 of the best.
Punt formation shown here. 8.5 to go, still early in the 3rd. And an apparent stop here issued by that DelOro defense. They let that punt roll. It's a short one.
Well, with no return, that's okay. No return on him, and the Trojans gladly take that. Once again, DelOro having to drive a long field here with the ball on approximately the 24-yard line.
A 30-yard punt by Robinson, and not only has Coach Walters switched quarterbacks, Lunders to the sophomore, but he switched punters, Lunders to Robinson.
Right.
So back onto the field, still trailing 24-7, 2 defensive stops this quarter for DelOro. Ryan Lewis needs to crank something up on offense now for the Eagles. Turn and give, short yardage to the 28 or so. Well, Logan Foster's been a pretty good workhorse tonight out of the backfield. And given that they haven't had much in the passing department with that Oakridge defense keyed for the run, any yardage gained is going to be tough yards.
Very definitely. You're faced with a 2nd and 7.
He keeps it. He has to scramble, and he's going to be sacked, hit hard, and dropped it like the 23.
Well, there's where experience will give him, will help him make better decisions like that. He probably was better off maybe gaining a yard or getting back to the line of scrimmage than reversing his field against that defensive speed, Will. And, yeah.
Let's take a look. There was lots of leakage along the line there. I mean, he got pressured immediately right there to start off. It turned him back, and then the examination was over.
Well, it looked like a lot, as you said, a lot of blue shirts in there, a lot of penetration.
5-yard loss, back to the 23. He wants to throw. Lewis winds up and fires wide open. There's a grab at midfield and inside the 50. First down on a key play, and I'll tell you, that was wide open. Nobody defending on the play, and Stone King had nothing but daylight around him. 29 yards on this hookup. As you see, Lewis put a nice zip on that one.
Well, he was all alone. They break down in the coverage on that Trojan defense.
At the Oakridge 48 with a first down. That was a big play on third. Direct snap, and he's going to run it. Breaks a tackle and gets ahead to the 40 or so, just inside the 40. Nice run, and maybe a yard shy of a first.
Yes, Lewis with a big 9-yard run, going right up the middle and putting him in it. As you see, he's tough, runs like a running back, takes a high snap, look at him, get forward, break tackles, keep his feet moving.
Boy, he used that block very nicely. He wants to throw, air it out, got a man out there, broken up.
Well,
slightly underthrown to allow the coverage to catch up. Shannon, the intended receiver.
Samad going over from the safety spot, helping Jacobs out on that one, coming over from center field, helping out.
That type of a play, though, does stretch the defense. It keeps them honest, and it provides extra room for the run game.
Correct.
3rd and 1. I like the play, though. On 2nd and 1, they aired it out. Maybe more conservative this time, trying to get the first down.
He's short.
Yeah, I think he is short.
They barely got back to the line of scrimmage. There was a delay. If you watch the action in that backfield there, that a little rough on the handoff on the fake on their read option.
It brings up a 4th and 1. Of course, they'll go for it.
Well, they have to. When you're trailing 24-7, you got to go for it.
5.5 to go. Midway, 3rd. Plenty of playing time.
He's got to get the ball out quick if he's going to throw.
Boy, look at that tight formation right there.
He's quarterback sneak. Oh.
They hand off, smack it in there, and they're right there.
Good second effort. As you see, limping off is Cal Lunders.
I have to believe that the substitution earlier in the game at the quarterback position and substitution at the punting position attributable to some kind of an injury. Okay, they needed one. They're going to measure. Here's the play. Let's see where
they gave him forward motion. They gave him a good mark, and they moved the chains.
First down. After the 4th down conversion, 1st and 10 from the 37 of Oakridge. He's going to throw. Now he's going to run it and gets around the corner to the 30, to the 25, to the 20. What an effort by the sophomore. And he took it upon himself and ran it for 16 and another first down.
Well, that's what they need. On this drive, this is very important and give them that energy needed here as we are a little beyond midway in this 3rd quarter. Look at Lewis here, breaking another tackle, getting up the field, running real hard.
At first glance, it looked like some shoddy tackling, but his speed is what got him out of the tackling angles.
Plus, he runs vertical. He turns that inside shoulder up and plants and gets up the field.
5 wideouts. Now we see motion. Stone King cuts it, but grabbed. Nice defense there at the 15-yard line, but a fumble recovery and a breakaway down the far side. They're not going to catch him until he reaches the end zone. Wow. Jacobs, again, a scintillating burst. And another turnover results in a touchdown. Wow. Tough luck for the Eagles as they were driving there. 87 yards
on the fumble recovery touchdown run, Avante Jacobs. With that play that goes on his highlight reel, the lead stretches to 30-7. Steady Connor Edwards on for the PAT. Snap, boot on the way, got it. At 4:12 of the third, Trojans back on the board, and here's how it happened. There you see the hit, a jarring shot, a fumble, scooped up on the run. Jacobs running away from the field. One man has a shot, but he shakes him off and takes it home. We'll be right back.
What?
Well, the host Oakridge Trojans, capitalizing on every opportunity presented them, on top 31-7 after a defensive touchdown on an 87-yard scamper. Avante Jacobs doing the honors. There's the kickoff, a short pooch, fumbled and fallen on near the 25, a mishandle.
Well, beside one being another turnover again, turnover 4, and each one of those turnovers has resulted in points for the Trojans. And one of the worst things is, besides the scoreboard, is they ran 9 plays. They had a great drive going. They used 4:10 of the clock and then give up the football.
So average field position for the Eagles, 1st and 10 from the DelOro 24. Up the middle, a nice hole, sealed up quick, and some hard hitting now by that Trojan defense. Approximately a 5-yard run.
Well, I'll give Lewis all the credit in the world, but I can tell you this, that they've taken some hits, and there he is. You have to give him credit. Young sophomore. He certainly is playing with confidence and knows how to run the football.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4, all day to throw. Over the middle, it's complete, and some running room. Nice gain to about the 47-yard line on that hookup to Dylan Shannon.
He's got to do more of that, and he doesn't have to go deep. That's a nice job. He's got Dylan coming across the middle, and you got to take those, take what they give you. And he's picked up enough there, approximately 10, 14 yards moving the chains. They can do more of that. The middle is wide open, and certainly they can exploit that, and they don't have to go deep fades, etc.
Triple to the left from the 48-yard line. Nice protection, but he's going to dash out of there and run it. He barrels ahead. Boy, tough, hard running. He's inside the 45-yard line and a little slower to get up this time.
Yeah, he's taking some hits. And I can tell you this, he's a tough guy, Ryan Lewis. Watch this. Looks back, nobody open. Decides to fake, take it up the middle, and deliver a blow. The ball came out, but the play was already dead.
Warfield with the stop. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. He's going to keep it and squirt ahead. Probably a little bit short there. It's probably going to bring up 3rd and 1 as the clock rolls at the 2:13 late third.
Well, they blitzed from the outside. That's where the pressure came. You see that DelOro line, Tucker Black, that center. Morales at guard and Vesky at guard doing a good job. Good front. Checking those armbands for that new play.
3rd and 2 from the 44. He's going to run right off the snap, take it wide right, turn the corner, and he's got plenty for another Golden Eagles first down.
At the end of that play, you're going to see one tired Lewis.
Well, he got tagged again. He's taken some punishment, as you said a number of times. First down. A 14-yard run for the sophomore quarterback who's going to leave the field.
Well, apparently has to come off for at least one play. And that's what Coach Walters is questioning there.
Lunders is apparently going to be inserted back into the game at quarterback, and he's moving pretty slow. We saw him leave the field in the second quarter limping considerably.
Yeah. He's moving better than when he left the field before. I didn't think he was going to make it going off.
Well, he's their inspirational leader, and back on the field with a key play here.
I'm sure we'll see Lewis back in.
First down, they run it.
I think you'll see Lewis come right back in the game.
Just as you say, he re-enters the contest with the clock rolling at 1:20. And again, DelOro showing signs of life here with this drive, as they did the previous 2 possessions, but turned over on both of them.
Well, they got to be able to get the ball in on that red zone. They're moving the ball from the 20 to 20.
He's going to fire to the corner. He's got a man out there. A flag flies.
Yeah, they're going to have a defensive interference there, I'm sure.
That will set them up nicely. He was.
Well, I'll tell you, Minnie is down in that corner with Samad and going for the football, but maybe they got a little too much man on that. Let's see the call.
Pass interference, 15 yards against the defense from the previous spot.
So let's take another look. I think he was going for Isaiah Oates on this throw. Number 4.
Yeah, he's got Oates open in that corner, and Barthel defending down there with Minnie.
Up to the line, 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. 5 wide receivers, 1 in motion. They fake it to him and run it, and Lewis gets ahead for a little bit to the 12. Gain of 3 as we're in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. Second and 8, they need to make the 5-yard line for a first down. Boy, they're sure taking their time.
Well, certainly, I don't see the 5-second warning by the back judge yet.
12 seconds on the clock and rolling. He keeps it, a burst straight ahead, he's inside the 5.
Well, I'll tell you, when he decides to run that quarterback draw inside, he runs like a rambling fullback, halfback combo.
They place the football at the 2-yard line, but the quarter expires. We've played 3 here at Oakridge High, and the host Trojans on top 31-7 on homecoming night. Stay with us.
staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
We're just about set for fourth quarter action in tonight's Sierra Foothill League matchup. Host Oakridge against visiting DelOro, and right now the hosts are in charge on homecoming night, as you see that outstanding band cranking things up and keeping things lively for this homecoming festivity. After this play, we'll check in with our pal Lauren Goodman, but right now DelOro's banging on the door. Major shift.
Unbalanced line left, and he goes right in.
He's in for the touchdown for the Eagles. Did we see a flag fly?
Well, are they not giving it to him?
That was rather indecisive, but it's an apparent touchdown, I guess, if they leave it to our imagination.
Wow.
31-13 on the first play of the fourth quarter.
Watch that unbalanced line and then a power set backfield to the unbalanced. Going for two.
Boy, did they spread out this formation or what? He keeps, goes for the goal line and scores. Well, he's really impressed me. He gets the two, and they pull within 31-15.
Well, since the second quarter, we've had the Ryan Lewis show going on with the help of some good line blocking.
Let's check in with our pal Lauren Goodman. What you got, Goody?
Hey, guys, I have an injury update for the DelOro Eagles. Number 10, Cal Launder. He is injured for significantly on that ankle. They actually spatted it up higher, a little bit above the ankle. He was asked, did he want to come out the game? He told the trainers no, so he's just trying to deal with the pain. But I think that they're going to keep him limited to the sideline as it's now we're going into the fourth.
Thanks, Goody. Well, sorry to hear that, but it was obvious that he was operating, on limited capability there with that injury.
Very definitely. That was a 4-minute and 13-second drive, 10 plays, 76 yards. Excellent drive by the DelOro Golden Eagles, and as we said from the start here, these are two rivals. Neither ball club is going to quit. Trojans have been a recipient of some great turnovers tonight, and certainly from the second quarter on, DelOro has well represented their school in every facet of the game.
I agree. A shaky first quarter for them. They fell behind, and they've played even since then. And with their starting quarterback KO'd, I think we've both seen a very bright spot now on that DelOro roster, with Lewis having been inserted into the game.
Are they going to onside? They're playing some games there.
Yes, they are. They do. But it's handled nicely by that front line. And as a result, the Trojans are going to have tremendous field position.
Well, the Trojans were suspecting that, and they put their hands team on the field.
They put their hands team on the field, and he had good hands.
It certainly does, doesn't it? Evan Robinson, outstanding player.
Ball control was a primary concern of Coach Walters, and the Eagles were able to demonstrate that clearly in that third quarter when the Trojans had, but how much? 3.5 minutes. Otherwise, DelOro had the rest, but we'll see what Lamson and company have in mind here as they open shop from their 45-yard line.
run the football straight ahead. The pile moves, and they have about a 4-yard gain.
Well, it's a good push by the left side. Hathaway, Dean, Summers got off the football pretty good there. Looked like the inside zone, and they moved the football. Well, I thought they had a little more than 3, but it looks like 3 at the most.
It did look like more. So we'll call it 2nd and 7 at the 48. Clock rolling here early in the 4th.
They're changing the play.
He wants to throw it. He's going deep outside. A diving attempt, and he just can't quite hold it. What an effort that time. Jacobs really stretched out on that one.
Wow.
Nice touch.
Nice touch by Lanson, under pressure again, putting the nose up outside, and Jacobs with a gallant effort. Once again, it stops the clock and puts them in a big 3rd down play here, where they got a punt. This is a big down and a great effort by the DelOro D.
Longer count this time. Lamson looks left, and he's sacked.
He's holding on to the ball a lot longer than normal. He was getting the ball out early, and now he's holding on to that football, and good coverage, forcing some indecision on the part of Lamson.
Another sack, and you're going to see it right here. I'll tell you, that have been manhandling on a number of plays.
Yeah, Dave Vesky, two-way starter, was all over him, Will.
He was. That D-line is very impressive. Punt formation shown by the Trojans here as they're unable to sustain the drive. Left-footed boot, nice one. Fair catch signaled for and taken outside the 20 on sure-handed Bear Buse. A 33-yard punt, no return. And DelOro will have the pill, 1st and 10, working from their 21. Well, time certainly becoming a major factor now. Just over 10 minutes left in this one. And DelOro needs a couple of touchdowns and have to hold the fort on defense.
And it certainly has. Oakridge has 9 total plays, second half. My goodness. Talk about ball control. 9 yards.
On 1st down. Scrambles and sets up. He's had all day. Nobody's open. Fires on the run to the sideline.
Well,
that's a catch. What an outstanding effort that time. Stone King with great hands, hemmed in at the sideline under tight coverage. A 21-yard pickup.
Well, give Stone King credit. And give young Ryan Lewis credit. He had the run wide open. I thought he was going to take it and get up the field another 10 yards because he did have the run. He broke containment, and he had that run open. And then Lewis, once again, young sophomore, Ryan Lewis having his night.
He's going to run it, and nowhere to go this time. Tough D that time, and it doesn't surprise me that Ryan Ane comes up off the bottom with another tackle.
Oh, Ryan Ane, an all-league back typer, 2-year starter, certainly one of the better backers in the league.
Gain of just 1, 2nd and 9. He's outside, turns the corner and shows some more speed before he's bumped out of bounds, crossing the midfield stripe. It's going to bring up 3rd and short. He's going to need 1 or so.
Well, that's excellent. I'm surprised DelOro isn't no huddling right now because they've really got their in tempo, and they got to take advantage of it and get some plays off here. Tight splits. They're coming right at him.
3rd and 1. Looks like he's got progress for the first down. Move the chains again. A concerted drive engineered here by sophomore QB Ryan Lewis. 4th quarter drama here on homecoming night at Oakridge, where the hosts have led wire to wire. But DelOro coming back for more. He's going to throw out to the right side. He's got a quick hookup for about a 5-yard pickup. Nice nickel and diming there on the strike to Aiden Mack.
Well, I like that because he doesn't need much time. He's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He doesn't need to throw the bomb or risk it. I love that first down play picked up, as you mentioned, Will, a quick 5.
Clock rolling, 8:20 to go. Time getting tight. Golden Eagles trying to strike quickly. Lewis makes up his mind, scrambles, reverses field, and gets hit and dropped for a loss. Loses about 2 or 3 on the play, back to the 48. Not quite that
Running
much.
too soon. Yes, he cannot give up on that pass that early. Really. He decided to run. He hardly gave himself a couple of seconds to check his receivers out there, and I know he loves to run the football.
He lost 5 on the play.
And yes, that hurt. 2nd and 5 to 3rd and 10.
Good protection. Deep left side. It's well covered and intercepted. The ball was overthrown and picked off. And who do you suppose is the thief? Avante Jacobs with the interception. Well played on the overthrown pass. Turnover number 5. Let's take a look at this double coverage here.
Here you see Avante. He's acting like he's a receiver, and he had help over the top by his safety. Didn't need him, but he had that help there covering him.
Bear Buse was the intended receiver, but the ball goes over on turnover number 5. Oakridge puts an end to that drive, and right away Lamson comes out throwing, and they bite off a nice little chunk here on first down as they go for the completion to Barthel.
Well, this is what I got to see more of out of the Oakridge Trojans. Nickel and diming and go for those stop routes. Hit his tight end Robinson. He's got great receivers in Jacob Samad and Barthel, and he can take his time and nickel and dime down the field and not need a lot of pass protection.
2nd and 3 from the 27. I don't imagine they'll be in any hurry to get these plays off. Jacobs on a sweep left. Dances out. And a penalty marker dropped back at the Oakridge 20 in the backfield. Well, holding will nullify that gain and put Oakridge in a hole.
Well,
with that in mind, wouldn't it be time to start pulling out the stops defensively and taking some chances?
Well, they have to at this particular point with only
53 offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 2nd down.
6:35 in this football game, and you're down with this score, 31-15 here. You know, 16 down, you've got to blitz some people. You do have to gamble if you want to win the football game.
My sentiments exactly. So they need to make all the way to the 30-yard line to get a first. Lamson to throw, fires to the right sideline and overthrows his target by a good ways. He again was going for Barthel. Coverage out there applied by Dylan Shannon.
Key play here for both sides of the football. If they can force the punt out of Oakridge, they would get that punt return in great field position. So this is Huge. We're looking at 3rd and almost 20. Okay? So they've got to keep them inside the chains. They can give up 5, 10, 12, but they've got to keep them away from that 20-yard gain, Will.
The scoreboard says 3rd and 18 from the 12. Let's see. Oh, boy, there's a jump. This will be interesting. Another 5 against the Trojans would really back them up. It is. So they'll try it again. 4 wideouts, 2 and 2. Wide open, uncovered at the 20-yard line. How did that happen? And a big first down as he rambles all the way to the 35. Robinson.
Well, Robinson, I'll tell you, he came into tonight's contest with an average of 17.8. Look at that.
Watch the lack of coverage here as he comes off the line. Look, he's undefended. Who's there?
Wide open.
Who is there? 27 yards on the play to get them out of a double penalty hole. 27 yards. That was huge. 1st and 10 from the OR 34. Nice dance.
Well, they'll just run the clock now, stay on the ground, and conceal this victory. As you see,
Warfield was excellent on that, but a flag down.
Here.
All right, give it to us straight now. Our umpire, Thomas Stewart, sorting things out. Well, evidently there's some question on this. I won't anticipate or speculate, but I will say that at the conclusion of tonight's ball game, we'll be announcing our players of the game, one of the standouts on each squad, and our pal Lauren Goodman will be interviewing those players.
Unsportsmanlike, number 56, DelOro. 15 yards from the end of the run, 1st down.
Well, Caden Morales singled out, and that is going to move the Trojans well up the field now that they're going down the field from the 45.
That pass play to Robinson was the first down of the half for the Trojans.
That's difficult to believe.
Yeah, I'm saying on the ground and the clock moving here now. There's no need for them to throw. They can just eat up the clock running the football, moving the chains.
Longer count, very long count. Lamson taking maximum time to get the snap, just chewing up the clock. They run left. Short yardage, but a nice fight there and a possible loose football.
It did look like a loose ball.
Evidently after is that a fumble recovery? It sure enough is.
That's the first turnover for Oakridge, isn't it?
Yes, that was a very unusual play right there. So the ball goes over. They trade turnovers, but probably more importantly, about 2.5 minutes got chewed up in between the turnovers. However, DelOro does have the pill. Good field position. Here we go. Lewis looking. Finally gets flushed and sacked.
Well, if you take a snapshot right now, there is no receiver in the first 15, 20 yards of the field. None. Absolutely none. And in order to throw those bombs down the field, he's going to need about 3 seconds or more.
Second and 12 from the 42 after they lose a couple. 3-man rush. He gets it away quick, and it's complete. Turning up the field, Aiden Foster.
Well, they got to go more than that and use their screens as well, because Oakridge is dropping tons of people off into coverage, and they're coming hard. Well, once again, go to short game. I know he wants to go long and get 2 quick touchdowns.
A snap through his fingers. He's back to get it, trying to slip away and cannot. 4 Trojans there to hem him in. A gigantic loss. And that one also goes into the MPT file. A 21-yard loss. That could be considered a backbuster. Clock ticking away, 3:13 left. 4th down and 23 for DelOro. Lewis fires over the middle, incomplete, nearly picked. It was intercepted. Looked like he might have trapped, but
once again,
another interception by one of the premier stars in this region, and certainly in tonight's ball game, Avante Jacobs. Another interception. So he's had 2 picks and a fumble recovery return for a TD.
6 turnovers
on defense.
Amazing, just amazing. I believe the 6th turnover.
That's just about as far as you have to look to decide what the big factor was in tonight's outcome. It's hard to win football games with 6 turnovers. Sweep right, he turns the corner and nearly splits 2 defenders at the 40, but it looks like a 10-yard run. Bumped out of bounds. Penalty? Yes, it was against Oakridge. Well, I'll tell you, game referee Stewart has been busy tonight. Thomas Stewart.
He certainly has, and the penalties were more against DelOro in the first half, but a lot of penalties against Oakridge in the second half.
Yes, it has been that way. Holding the call. Yes, it has been a football game marred with penalties. However, nowhere close to the afternoon we spent at Sac High when they hosted Valley and 39 penalties.
I don't think we'll ever break that record, nor do we want to break that record, Will.
2:47 left in this one. So time-consuming plays will be the order on this series by Oakridge. But one would have to say that in the whole scheme of things in the Sierra Foothill League race, an important game tonight here, and the outcome serving Oakridge very well, as we still have 3 weeks to go to complete the regular season.
Well, it certainly has. This SFL, as these teams, if they can't overcome Folsom, they got to secure a playoff berth for themselves, Will.
Another run play designed to chew time. We're under 2 minutes now. Well, certainly Oakridge, a well-prepared team coming into this ball game. And I would have to think the same for DelOro, but the execution part wasn't there.
Well, certainly you have to give Coach Jeff Walters credit for his team hanging in there tough and coming back and really making a closer contest here. Coach Cavalier, again, trying to put together a four-game winning streak in closing the season and taking them one at a time and hopefully leading once again to a playoff berth, which is normal for them to have one.
Standard procedure. And oftentimes, given the strength of the Sierra Foothill League, they have, in certain years, I believe, had 4 representatives in the playoffs, haven't they?
Well, and very deserving. And you know, give credit to that DelOro defense this second half. They've held them to 15 plays, a total of 54 yards in the whole second half. So here they are, moving the ball from 20 to 20, and then unfortunately fumbling or turnover into football in that red zone.
Coach Walters walking that sideline, wishing there was more time on the clock. But in many regards, it just wasn't their day. And they can look back, I'm sure, and single out much of this game where they could have given a better account of themselves. But they're the type of team that is resilient and bounces back, faces adversity with courage, and I expect them to surface later on in the postseason.
Well, I do as well.
Sweep left. Boy, he's just had a field day. So the clock stops.
I'm sure he didn't want to get out of bounds, but he wanted to keep that clock going, you know. But certainly they've run that sweep left to that far sideline successfully tonight.
It should be noted that on this very same field, just a couple of short weeks ago, Oakridge was leading Folsom late in that game, in a game that the top-ranked Bulldogs were fortunate to come from behind and pull that out in a squeaker.
In a squeaker, yes, by a field goal, and Oakridge had an opportunity to tie or win that football game and missed a field goal. That could have gone overtime, Will.
The statement I made just now is to indicate how strong this program is, and a timeout taken somehow by Oakridge. Couldn't begin to tell you the reason why, but it's been an excellent night for the host contingent on homecoming. I don't know what goes better on homecoming week and homecoming night than a victory in the homecoming game.
Well, certainly that's happened. There's going to be a lot of happy Trojans and alums here tonight and do have a nice weekend of celebrations. And so certainly that cloud that was hanging over here at the second quarter has disappeared, and maybe it was the barbecue cloud. Warfield having a good second half, or total game, 16 carries, 89 yards. All right, a good night for Dylan Warfield.
Well, his run game is what balances their offensive attack and solidifies their all-around offensive capability to go with Lamson's passing.
Certainly, that's good balance there. They're in that run formation now. Looks like they got an extra blocker in the game.
He wants to throw and does, wide open. He's got his tight end again. Robbie heading for the sideline to the 10, shoved out near the 5.
Wow, Robinson. Where have you been, Mr. Robinson? Well, we know where Evan Robinson has been.
He has been open all night.
Wide open. What a night. 36 yards on that one, and I believe, doesn't that put him over the 100 or close? Got to put him over 100.
There's that offensive unit. Lamson back in to the huddle from the sideline, and we'll see what the Trojans want to do here with the 1st and goal from the 7.
Evan Robinson, 103 yards of receptions tonight. And I'm impressed how good speed for a big man.
Sweep left. Who can get him to the goal line? Touchdown, Trojans. Well, that was a heck of a speed sweep by Jacobs, who got in right at the pylon.
Well, one more thing to add to his list in this game. Mr. Jacobs.
That was a 7-yard touchdown scamper. If it was the old days, I'd say to the flag, but the pylon will do, and at 1:26 late fourth, Trojans are back on the board. Edwards on for the PAT. Spot, boot on the way, got it. At 1:26 of the fourth, the Trojans extend to 38-15, and here's how they do it with speed to the outside at the pylon. We'll be right back.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
So here they come with 1:26 to go. Oakridge will be kicking off after tacking on their 38th point. Edwards chips it to an open space, bounding at the 30 and out of bounds. It's been quite a night all the way around. Beautiful conditions for fall football and such a festive atmosphere here at Oakridge High on homecoming night.
Well, certainly this is a great facility here, Will, as you've mentioned all night. It's beautiful up here. It's like living in a forest, beautiful campus. They've been great hosts, and hopefully we can come back.
I wouldn't mind a return trip. I think that would be altogether proper. Run play on first down with 1:20 to go, gets a couple. But I have to say I've been most impressed with the sophomore quarterback taking the helm in a time of extreme adversity and the injury to Cal Lunders, which essentially has knocked out his efficiency both on offense and defense for the entire game.
Very, very definitely. And it would not surprise me, even though in lieu, quarterback Lunders can play other positions, okay? And I think as they head down the stretch here, I'm going to wonder, it's up to Coach Walters to decide, hey, what they're going to do with this Lewis. Why not give him experience the remainder of the season and start him and get him ready for next year?
I agree completely, and I wouldn't be one bit surprised if that's exactly how it's played out by Coach Walters. As you see there, the good defense on the sweep. That would make so much sense to me and so logical. Time ticking down. The final seconds here this evening at Trojan Stadium on homecoming night as Oakridge High has played an all-around excellent football game in this Sierra Foothill League matchup with DelOro, and this one is in the book.
Well, Coach Cavalier's got to be very happy. He and his staff, a veteran staff that he's had here for a number of years, and coaches, all the staff, players, and student body are going to be having one happy weekend with a nice victory over a tough DelOro squad. So congrats. See if players are enjoying good sportsmanship between these two teams.
Mutual respect there. We see Coach Walters out in front of his coaching contingent, and lots of class on both sides out there. I think both of these squads, based on the leadership of their head coaches, has a good idea what the bigger picture is besides just the outcome of this game.
I totally agree, Will. And believe me, my association with both these schools in the past as well as now has been on the plus side without a question. Those are two great leaders, and a lot of respect for both schools, their student body, their faculties, etc. They are outstanding, and they are what high school football is about.
Well said, Coach. Don't wander off. When we come back from this break, that will put us into our post-game segment, and that will be when we announce our players of the game, and our Lauren Goodman has a few words with each of them, as well as the winning coach. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
These are cool. Did you, what did
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The verdict is in, and the decision is final this evening here in El Dorado Hills at Oakridge High School, where tonight on homecoming night for the Trojans, they put together an impressive performance and handled their league rival DelOro by a final count of 38-15 in a ball game that saw some twists and turns and more penalties than normal for these teams that execute so well generally. But in the end, we saw consistent execution enough to pile up the 38 points for Coach Cavalier's outfit.
Well, they certainly did. They capitalized on those turnovers, and that's what you're supposed to do. And I would say the 10 prior to the ending of the first half were perhaps the most crucial. All of them were crucial, but when you give up 10 points in the span of 3 or 4 minutes and going into the half, and you have to address your football team having given 10 giveaways, that's a little tough to do.
Now, those two setups on the turnovers were wound up being deep red zone opportunities once they took possession.
They're really worth more than 10, Will.
Worth more than 10. And, you know, just hypothetically, if you trimmed 10 from that 38, it would put them within DelOro within striking distance of getting even with a score. So they didn't take care of the football. Maybe a little nervous, maybe a little jittery, but Oakridge stayed calm.
Well, I think you'll see young sophomore Ryan Lewis, as he gets more and more experience, he'll understand, make better decisions. We know he's a tough young man, and he's got a decent arm. And what little experience he has on the varsity level, he had to come into a big, crucial pressure game under heavy heat and showed that, say, he can play with the big boys as a young sophomore.
You bet he can, and you could say that the cliche certainly fits here, that he came of age in
Very
this game. It wasn't just he got an appearance to play, but he was inserted under heavy duress with an injury to their starter, trailing big on the scoreboard. Well, let's take a look at our graphic because we can now announce our players of the game. And there you see for the DelOro Golden Eagles, sophomore QB Ryan Lewis, our player of the game from DelOro, as we just said, coming off the bench to show some fire and some life as a backup QB to the injured Cal Lunders. And the electrifying Avante Jacobs of Oakridge had one of those games most players just dream about, on offense and on defense, and as a return man, a standout in every regard. Our Lauren Goodman is standing by with our players of the game. Goody?
Well, I'm kind of out of breath right now. I was able to catch everybody and get everybody going. But now I'm here for DelOro. Ryan, you were able to come out. What were you thinking about when your number was called early in this game tonight?
Just like, oh shoot, like it's varsity game. First, I haven't played in a year. And it's just nerve-wracking. But I know my teammates got me, and I know that we'll improve from this, and we'll keep on going.
Well, you played extremely tough and confident, continued to run. What was giving you the strength to keep pushing, even when you were scrambling and getting some hit really hard out there? What was helping you kind of continue through the game and play, even though you haven't played in a while?
Just doing it for the guy next to me. Always whenever you don't have enough inside yourself, just do it for the dude next to you.
Now, chatting before we got on camera, we talked a little about your future and how you're progressing. Yeah. How do you feel after tonight's game, kind of getting your feet wet and then going forward into the rest of this SFL?
Well, we're gonna learn from this, capitalize on offense, and just keep on going. Keep on going.
Well, you have a very positive outlook. Hope you guys have a good luck on the rest of the season. Thank you. Now, for the guy I had to chase down, who was all over the field tonight, you played both sides of the ball, offense and defense. What is it taking for you to prepare for this, to be in tip-top shape to go both ways?
You know, it starts on Monday when we're putting in work out here on the field, just running, conditioning, getting our bodies in shape for Friday. And my scout team guys, getting us ready on offense and defense is getting us prepared for the team we have this upcoming week.
Now, I know it's homecoming, but you had 3 picks tonight, 1 on the run back. What's your thought process out there when you're on defense and you're making some of those reads, making some spectacular plays?
Just like my coach, Coach Cap says, we got to go out there and just do our job, and that's what I was just doing, out there doing my job, and big plays happen.
Now, I've gotten to interview you before, and I'm going to ask you a tough question. You play both sides of the ball. What's your favorite side of playing?
I'm going to go with offense. Offense is definitely my favorite side of the ball. I love putting the ball in the end zone and confusing defenses and causing problems.
Well, it seems like you guys got some weapons over here. Got a big future going the rest of this SFL as far as the playoffs. Good luck on the rest of the season. Well, we're going to try to find Cavaliers somewhere out here. It's getting kind of hectic, but I'm going to swing it up to you before I can find them.
Sure, Goody. We'll take it for a minute until you run down the Oakridge head coach. And, well, it looks as though he just appeared out of nowhere. Nice to see you, Eric. What you got, Goody?
Well, it is October, and he just made a spectacular ghost play on me. Yeah. Coach, talk to me about your second half, and how do you feel your team kind of developed and maybe even grown a little bit?
Yeah, the second half, our defense really stepped it up and came through, just made big plays when we needed them. Struggled a little bit on offense, just had some penalties and just didn't execute real well. But also give credit to DelOro, man. They really had a good plan for us in the second half, brought pressure. They covered us, so credit to them as well. But defense was really kind of the story for us tonight. Avante Jacobs just all over the field, making plays in the kicking game, defense, offense. It was. We're glad we've got a player like Avante to help get us through, get us these wins.
Now, we've talked about how tough your league is. Can you tell me about how your defenses is going to allow you? A lot of people talk about the offense, but tell me about how your defenses are going to allow you to make some strides in the rest of this stretch.
Yeah, our first of all, our defensive coaches, I really want to credit my defensive coaching staff. Those guys work their tails off. They come in with a good game plan. They're prepared every week. And then credit to our players for executing the plan. They're really just a dialed-in group of guys, and it showed tonight.
Now, we know you guys always do something special, make a playoff run. What do you think is going to be the difference in this season to give you a little bit edge to going further in that playoff berth, getting to that state run?
Yeah, we just got to get healthy. We're still a little bit banged up. We're getting a little bit more healthy. We got Hunter Neighbors and Mason Walsh kind of back in the mix now. It's made a big improvement to our defense there. Just looking to keep guys fresh and healthy through the next 3 or 4 games and get some wins there and get ready for the playoffs.
Well, thank you, Coach. It's always great talking to you.
Right.
Will.
Thanks, Goody. Well, a pleased Oakridge head coach, Eric Cavalier, always gracious to the other team and did recognize their strong suits tonight. And certainly the fact that his injured players who are frontliners and did not appear in tonight's contest, the fact that they're coming back to be activated and play down the stretch is huge news for the Trojans.
Well, it is. He certainly emphasized that. They're going to get a couple of 2 or 3 key players back in time for that stretch run, and gave a lot of credit to his defensive staff. Coach Darren Junetz, who's been with him for many, many years, the coordinator. And, of course, he's got some guys coaching both sides of the football, Rubacaba and Mike Preacher, et cetera, on the defensive side. And, of course, there's a couple of guys that have been with him forever, Ron Martin and Bill Bunce. And Mark Watson, probably one of the top coordinators, ex-head coach, one of the top coordinators around, and as well as a quarterback guru. And so Coach Cav has an outstanding staff, and he gave credit where it should be, to his staff and then the players for executing.
Well, I like the program very much. The integrity of the overall program is so impressive to me. But tonight, they registered an important win as they journey through this Sierra Foothill League gauntlet, where every opponent can knock your block off. But certainly tonight, a nice measuring stick, and it will be interesting down the stretch, and with regard to that unusual scheduled game with Elk Grove.
Well, it is, I haven't talked, spent some time here several days ago, but I came here to get familiar with the program and the players, etc., and didn't look at that, and I'm sure when we talk to Coach Cav, he'll give us why. Certainly, scheduling isn't easy. And the way it is today, if you've got leagues that are uneven numbers, you're scheduling non-league games, and you hope to schedule them all before your league play starts. So there's got to be a good reason for them having to play that 10th game against a non-league opponent, and just not any non-league opponent, a strong non-league opponent in Elk Grove.
Boy, no kidding. Now that's going to be a real test for both teams, and it's clear that Coach Heffernan and the Thundering Herd have regained some of that momentum and that driving force that established them as such a powerhouse in previous decades. So that'll be an interesting. Let's go ahead and look at those final stats again and see some revealing numbers that Rob has compiled for us.
Well, as you look at the rushing yards, certainly DelOro holding on to the football in time of possession and rushing yards well ahead, 143 to 89. Passing yards, of course, ahead with the Trojans, 207. Majority of that coming in the first half. Total offense, 296, 229. First downs in favor of the Golden Eagles, 14-9. Penalties, just about even. Turnovers, huge, 6-1. Time of possession, quite huge in favor of the Golden Eagles. At times, they won the battles, but unfortunately, the bottom line lost the war. But really, when you take a look at this, contrasting styles, Lewis gave them a big shot in the arm from the second quarter on. And certainly, as Coach Cav gave credit to Coach Walters, that they give credit to DelOro making an adjustment and putting more pressure on Lampson as the game went on, because if they did put any pressure on him, as you saw in the first quarter, he went wild with his passing game, and his receivers were wide open.
Wide open, and the 4 or 5 completions to Robinson, he was by himself on the field.
Exactly.
That might be something to be looked at later. As far as the rushing yards advantage with the 148, half of those Lewis accounted for with 77 yards coming off the bench. So that was a huge factor there, and he was most impressive, particularly in the situation that was thrust upon him. But we want to take a look and give you a visual of where we'll be next week. It's called the Next Game promo, and we got one lined up for you because we're going to check out a couple of teams that have left a lasting impression on this area for many decades, one of which is ripping it right now. And that would be the Terry Stark-led Inderkum Tigers. They're going to square off over in Antelope with the Titans next week, and that is where we'll be in 1 week's time for Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Inderkum at Antelope next week. But here tonight on homecoming night, the Oakridge Trojans came up big and put it together in abundance and emerged with a 38-15 victory over visiting DelOro. For my announcing mates, Jim Domino, the Imperator himself, and Lauren Goodman, what would we do without you, Goody, and our game director, Nick Dunn, and the entire Hometown Sports Game of the Week broadcast crew, and Rob, our ace statistician, who tore it up again, providing all the number crunching. That's the ticket for tonight. I'm Will James. We thank you so much for joining us, and as always, look forward to the next occasion when we can cross your path. So long, everyone.
This program from Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week is available for purchase on DVD. For more information, call Access Sacramento 916-456-8600, extension 0. Game of the Week on Access Sacramento is provided by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Access Sacramento also thanks Sharif Jewelers, fine jewelers since 1932. Sharif Jewelers, a longtime sponsor of community television. And Folsom Lake Honda, a proud sponsor of Access Sacramento's Hometown TV and Game of the Week, and a partner in our community, Folsom Lake Honda.